They are two of the biggest boy bands of all time, but the bigger group according to the numbers is BTS is a South Korean band formed in 2010, consisting of members Jin, Suga, J-Hope, RM, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. One Direction is a British boy band formed on the TV show X Factor in 2010, consisting of members Niall Horan, Liam Payne, Harry Styles, Louis Tomlinson, and Zayn Malik. In this video, we'll look at their history and compare them in multiple categories: chart performance, sales, total streams, award achievements, touring, and social media following to decide who has had a bigger impact on pop music. BTS stands for the Korean phrase Bangtansonyendon, which means Bulletproof Boy Scouts, and Harry Styles came up with the name One Direction. On November 18, 2011, One Direction released their debut studio album Up All Night. It became the third best-selling album of 2012 globally, selling 4.5 million copies. On the 9th of November 2012, they released their second studio album, Take Me Home. This was the fourth best-selling album of 2012, selling 4.4 million units worldwide. On June 12, 2013, BTS released their debut single album, Too Cool for School. It had that old-school 90s hip-hop sound. On September 11, 2013, BTS released the EP, Oh, Are You Late Too? On November 25, 2013, One Direction released their third studio album, Midnight Memories. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, with 546,000 copies sold in its first week. On February 12, 2014, BTS released the School Love Affair EP. It topped the South Korean Gaon albums chart. Their first three projects are known as the School Trilogy. In August 2014, BTS released their debut studio album, Dark and Wild. And on December 24, 2014, they released their first Japanese studio album, Wake Up. On November 17, 2014, One Direction released their fourth studio album, 4. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, with sales of 387,000 copies, which made One Direction the first group in history to debut at number 1 with their first 4 albums. On March 25, 2015, Zayn Malik announced his departure from One Direction. On November 13, 2015, One Direction released their latest album, Made in the AM. It debuted at number 2 on the Billboard 200, with 459,000 album equivalent units. After the release of this album, they announced a hiatus and continued to focus on their solo careers. On the 7th of September 2016, BTS released their second Japanese album, Youth. On October 10, 2016, they released Wings. It has sold more than 1.1 million records in South Korea. On the 4th of April 2018, BTS released their third studio album, Face Yourself. On May 18, 2018, BTS released their third Korean album, Love Yourself, Tear. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, earning 135,000 album equivalent units. On August 24, 2018, they released their compilation album, Love Yourself, Answer. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, becoming BTS's second number 1 album. On February 21, 2020, they released Map of the Soul 7. It has sold over 4.8 million copies worldwide. On July 14, 2020, they released their fourth Japanese studio album, Map of the Soul 7, The Journey. It debuted at number 1 on the Japanese charts, having sold 447,000 copies within 24 hours of its release. On November 20, 2020, they released their fifth Korean album, B. It debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200, with 242,000 album equivalent units. Their most recent release was Proof, released on June 10, 2022. On its release day alone, it sold over 2 million copies worldwide. Now let's compare their achievements. First is chart performance. On the Billboard Hot 100, BTS has 6 number 1 singles, while One Direction has none, so BTS wins that. BTS has 10 top 10 hits, while One Direction has 6, so BTS wins that. BTS has 26 entries, while One Direction has 29, so One Direction wins that. On the Billboard 200 albums chart, BTS has 6 number 1 albums, while One Direction has 4, so BTS wins that. For album sales, BTS has sold over 44 million albums worldwide, while One Direction has sold over 70 million, so One Direction wins that. And for total streams, BTS has 29.4 billion streams on Spotify, while One Direction has 15.8 billion streams. So BTS wins that. And for total awards, BTS has won a total of 468 awards, while One Direction won 177. So BTS wins that. And for touring, BTS grossed a total of more than $304 million on their concert tours, while One Direction grossed more than $555 million. So One Direction wins that. For social media following, BTS has 68.7 million IG followers, while One Direction has 23.2 million. So BTS wins that. BTS has 47.7 million Twitter followers, while One Direction has 31 million. So BTS wins that. BTS has 71.5 million YouTube subscribers, while One Direction has 37.6 million. So BTS wins that. They are two of the biggest boy bands of all time, but the bigger group according to the numbers is BTS.